Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Three news stories. Firstly, Ethiopia's established coastal guards. A country with no coast has launched coastal guards. Is it an internal force to monitor the river banks, the lakes, etc., or all this preparation of the establishment of coastal guards and navies about access to sea? Secondly, the Ethiopian military has published some pictures of the Fano fighters who surrendered. But in the surrender, the government claimed, the military claimed that one of those who surrendered is a senior Fano commander. Thirdly, Somaliland has established aviation training school. Somaliland intends to establish an airline. It wants to start local flights reported. Let's start, viewers, with the first story about Ethiopian ambitions of access to sea. Ethiopia has been working on this ambition about access to sea for years. It's not new, but since last year, we have been seeing new developments. Ethiopia signing MOU with Somaliland. It tried to talk to Eritrea. Eritrea did not respond. Djibouti offered a port to Ethiopia. Ethiopia using Kenyan port as well. Ethiopia in talks with Somalia to Somalia making an offer of use of Hobyo port. A lot is happening. Meanwhile, Ethiopia is preparing. In case of access to sea, it will definitely need a force to protect the coast, which will be under the control of Ethiopian forces. It will need navy. Landlocked countries do have navies, by the way. Landlocked countries have ships too, commercial ships sometimes. Sometimes they have warships as well, because obviously they use their own ships for trade, though they use other countries' ports, in some cases. So Ethiopia has been establishing a navy first. Everyone knows it has worked a lot on establishing navy officers being trained in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has established coastal guards as well. It was announced this week, announced by the head of Ethiopian Federal Police. The head of Ethiopian Federal Police announced that Ethiopian Coastal Guards has been established. Desmilash Michael is the name of the Ethiopian Federal Police chief. He said that Ethiopia fully prepared, Ethiopian Coastal Guards fully prepared. Some are being trained, but others have undergone their training. The Coastal Guards are ready to be deployed where? To the base, to the port which Ethiopia wants to have access to? Or will they be deployed in the country? We don't know. It seems that all the efforts by the Ethiopian government about establishment of coastal guard, establishment of navy, are about access to sea. Though Somaliland Ethiopia MOU is still an MOU, not implemented, but Ethiopia still fully committed that one day it will implement the MOU, or in some other form it will have access to sea through Somalia, through Eritrea, etc., through Djibouti, etc. And then it will have full rights over coast, where it will deploy its coastal guards, it will deploy its navy there. Secondly, viewers, some Fano fighters have surrendered, claimed the Ethiopian military. ENDF has published images of Fano fighters who have surrendered. 4 Fano fighters have been shown who have surrendered. Images are from North Gondar, from Debark city. ENDF broke this news on its social media page. One of those who surrendered is a Fano commander of local level, you can say, local level Fano commander. His name is Gabru Girjalio. The pictures show 4 Fano fighters in the custody of ENDF and 2 guns recovered or handed over by these Fano fighters to the local command post in Gondar in Dibak. By the way, Just four Fano fighters shown by the military. The strongest military in Africa has shown four Fano fighters who have surrendered. The military claims as if Fano fighters are on the run, as if their commanders have fled into neighboring countries, as if Fano fighters are on the verge of their final destruction, but they just showed four Fano fighters. But in the ongoing operation against Fano and military is interested in killing as many as it can. It is conducting brutal airstrikes, drone strikes on Fano. Vehicles with vehicles carrying Fano fighters are being targeted. Fano fighters dying, definitely. Losses in drone strikes are generally not admitted by parties to a conflict. EDF never admitted. Ola never admits. Fano will never admit. Why? Because the losses in drone strikes, if admitted, lead to psychological pressure upon the fighters. If Fano fighters admit that their 30 fighters died in drone strike in Gondar, you can imagine the impact on other Fano fighters. Morale will be down. They won't admit that. Their commanders will give interviews. I have seen interviews. They deny. They say, no, civilians are dying only. Fano fighters are not dying. Military is killing civilians. No. Fano fighters are dying. Yes, civilians are dying too in collateral damage. But Fano fighters are dying. Fano groups will never acknowledge these losses. It's part of strategy. People all day send videos, pictures saying, Sajid, you see, civilians are dying. Something, Sajid, you see, this drone has been shot down by Fano fighters. You're not reporting. You're against Fano. You're on the payroll of PMAVI. No drone has been shot down by Fano fighters. It's not that only civilians are dying in Amhara. Civilians are dying too, but Fano fighters are being killed as well. But problem is that pro-Fano news sources share propaganda. And those who support Fano, they want to hear that propaganda. They don't want anyone to challenge that propaganda. We're not here to support or oppose Fano, to support or oppose Ethiopian government. We're here to just share factual information with you. Asked about Somaliland, where the government wants to establish Somaliland Airlines. Musbi Abdi, the president, has inaugurated Somaliland Aviation School. Somaliland has acquired a fleet of small aircrafts. It wants to train pilots. I think Musi Abdi is also a former pilot. Training is underway. At this aviation school, pilots will be trained. Secondly, Somaliland wants to establish a small local airline. It wants to start local flights from Hargeisa to other parts of Somaliland, internal flights reportedly, to far-off areas of Somaliland from Hargeisa. Flights are going to start after the training of Somaliland's pilots reportedly. Somalia controls the entry, the departure of flights to and from Somalia. Even those which enter Somaliland, they have to get clearance from Somalia. And Somaliland have been fighting to control the airspace over Somaliland. Somalia blocked some flights from entering Somaliland, if you remember, a few months ago. Somalia forced Ethiopian Airlines, Fly Dubai, and others to erase the name of Somaliland from their websites. Why? Because Somaliland does not have a fully functional civil aviation authority and an airline. That is why I think the Somaliland administration now wants to establish a civil aviation authority, aviation training school, and an airline, it seems. Thank you for watching.